basically every single morning goes like this. Hi Tracy, hi Paula, hi Debbie, hi, how are you? I'm fine, how are you? How was the weekend? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Nigerian in London. If you are new here, welcome. If you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back. My name is Dabby and today's video is all about London work culture. What is actually like to live, or not live, actually work in London. Like the day-to-day feel of things that I've noticed are completely different, like culturally, in the workplace from Nigeria, for instance. Stuff that I reckon if you're not already from around here, it might be very odd to you. And yeah, I think this video might be helpful to people, especially if you haven't started working in London and you want a feel of what things are like, or if you're already working in London and you've noticed things that you think might be a bit weird, but you don't realize it's just something that kind of happens all around the city in general. So that's what I'm gonna get into today. As usual guys, if you have not already subscribed to my channel, subscribe, support my ministry. If you enjoyed today's video as well, please remember to hit the like button. Actually, also, if you can relate to anything I'm talking about today, drop what you can relate to in the comment section below, as well as if you think I've missed anything in general, so we can get straight into today's video. So I will start off this video saying everything I say today is very much dependent on my personal experiences. I've worked in retail, I've worked in big tech, I've worked in fintech. Yeah, these are just my experiences. I'm not saying this is the case for every single person, but just to give you an idea. Yeah. So basically every single morning goes like this. Hi Tracy, hi Paula, hi Debbie, hi, how are you? I'm fine, how are you? How was the weekend? I get so tired of this shit, Jesus Christ. Yeah, you do it. First person comes in, you do that. Second person comes in, you do that, back and forth. Third person comes in, you're mentally exhausted, and it's Monday morning, 9:05. Why am I tired already? Small talk. But it's something I've started getting used to be fair. With time I've started getting used to it a lot more. But there's a lot of like, how was your weekend? What did you get up to? In reality, I really feel like no one is actually listening sometimes. Some people do, to be fair. But you see people kind of break off into these conversations almost every morning. A lot more on like Mondays because of the weekend, obviously. But almost every morning. I'm an introvert. I'm really enjoying this whole work from home life because I don't miss that aspect of things. But yeah, it's something that I'm not convinced we have as much in Nigeria, and it's something that I think, regardless of where I came from, as someone who's an introvert, it can be quite exhausting to do that before starting work. So yeah, they love small talk in this country, and even like at lunchtime or even random times when you go to get a coffee or a tea or something, whoever is there, you have that whole conversation with them again. I don't know how everybody is not tired of it, but yeah, it's something that, like, I don't know, it must be done, I guess, because you end up seeming a bit antisocial when like you don't partake in these conversations, if that makes sense, because they are really just small talk and people kind of having a quick chat, getting to know you and stuff. So I kind of mentioned this already, but the whole tea/coffee culture, again, this isn't something I was used to. I won't lie, I've been fully indoctrinated into this. I don't even know how many cups of coffee I have a day. It's ridiculous. but people are so specific with like starting every morning with a cup of coffee, starting every morning with a cup of tea. And the biggest kind of thing I feel like when it comes to this tea or coffee thing, depending on obviously where you work, what things are like, but in the work day, when you get up and you want to go get like a cup of tea or a cup of coffee for yourself, there's like this thing where you have to ask people around you, do you want anything? Do you want anything? Do you want... And them times when everybody says yes and then you're making 4 cups of tea or 4 cups of coffee, it gets a bit long. But I think it is kind of cute when you start to build relationships around, like with people around you, and you, once they say yes, you know what type of, how they drink their coffee, how they drink their tea, which of the two they drink. It's the whole thing. It sounds very minor, me saying it actually out loud right now, but I feel like it's almost one of those like unspoken rules, the tea/coffee culture. And like me in Nigeria, was I drinking any tea? Was I drinking any coffee? No. You wake up, go to work, start, keep moving. The next thing again is one of those things I feel like can be really minor or could not be really minor. It could go both ways, but it's how you start emails. So I, for the most part, for I guess the last couple of years, I've worked with people from all around Europe, the Middle East and Africa. So it's funny because I get to see how the language different people use, if that makes sense. I personally have worked in IT for the most of my career, currently working in fintech, used to work in big tech. I start my emails with hello or hi. If you're someone like, we're cool like that, hey. I start the email with a hey. I don't say it like that, obviously it's just hey, right? But what I've noticed is with certain cultures, including my own, like with a lot of Nigerians and stuff, people tend to start emails with good morning, good afternoon. I think culturally some people are just a lot more formal, if that makes sense, but especially in tech. And I don't know what it's like in like other sectors. Actually, how do you guys start your emails, your work emails? Are you a hey, hello person, or good afternoon, good morning? Quite formal in that way. But it's something I've noticed, and I reckon if I was speaking to someone who was, which I haven't had to, but if I was speaking to someone in a different company or different country who that was the norm for them, like good morning, good afternoon, and just come from nowhere and say hi, they could be offended. I know certain Nigerian situations where that would be offensive. But yeah, it's just something I noticed. For the most part, I'm a hello, hi kind of girl. Alcohol needs its whole own category in this video, because I feel like, especially coming from somewhere where like drinking in the workplace isn't like a huge thing, it's such an ingrained almost part of work culture in this country, at least everywhere I've worked. Like, it's whether it's going out to the pub at lunchtime and having a drink and just coming back to work afterwards, or hanging out after work and having a drink with your colleagues, with your boss, with like your people who are senior to you at work. Just completely normal. Drinking with clients, if you are client facing, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I have heard the argument for like people who don't drink feel out of place, and I will say, when I first moved here, my alcohol tolerance was on the floor, so I was very scared to drink around work people. So I would just always order like a mocktail or like something that would look like alcohol, if that made sense, and not just drink like an obvious Fanta or something. But yeah, it is something that's a big part of work culture here. I really do wonder what it is, because I've heard it's not the same in the US, especially when it comes to like even drinking at work. What am I even saying? Almost everywhere I've worked, they've even served beer at work. When I worked in like big tech, my company had a bar inside inside the office, so I don't know how that was meant to go. And like, just to be clear, it was not in any way, shape or form appropriate to be drunk at work. Absolutely not. But like, having a drink with a meal was just completely normal, was completely normal, and I don't think that's the case everywhere. The next thing, which to a degree I would say probably exists anywhere, is office politics. Now, the thing about office politics in the UK is I have seen people gossip their like friggin' almost careers away. People will gossip with no break, no jam, just going. But when I say office politics, I don't necessarily mean gossip. Sometimes it's about like being able to like know people better, know how certain people like to be spoken to, how certain people like, or like all those kind of things. So when it comes to like actual gossiping, my approach is stay the heck away from it. Don't involve yourself in that. It's really not worth it. It gets so messy, no point. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend staying completely away from office politics, because usually it's the kind of thing that literally involves almost everybody, and when you kind of know these social ticks, if that makes sense, it does help you and it can help your career very much, to know these almost unspoken things, if that makes sense, when it comes to how you interact with people, how people like to be interacted with. Just, it's difficult to explain in words, but I hope you get what I'm saying. So obviously don't involve yourself in like the messy stuff, but also you don't want to, it doesn't benefit you to kind of be a hermit and almost remove yourself from every single thing. People like to help people they know, so you do need to socialize. I would recommend, obviously if you're not comfortable with it, but you want to socialize a bit, let people get to know you, you get to know people. I think it almost even makes you appreciate where you work a bit more and the people you work with. Oversharing. Now, as a Yoruba woman, I'm not in the business of telling people my business, basically, but I do think it is due to like cultural differences. It's so normal here for people to just share things that you will be shocked at the things people share at work. I am all for building relationships with people and connecting with people, but sometimes people overshare and you're like, my goodness, I cannot believe you just said that at work. What? Did we need to know that? But yeah, it's like, it's shocking when it first happens, I think, and you're like around when it happens, but you get used to it. Me, I will listen. I don't know, I'm not gonna be rude and be like, just walk away. I will listen. What's my own? You're the one sharing, but I'm not gonna share that kind of unnecessary information. But yeah, oversharing is just like, it seems to be quite a normal thing over here. So this is something I think is a very, I don't know if I should say British or English thing, using swear words at work. I'm not gonna lie, this I fit in like a glove, because if not for the fact my mother watches this channel, I don't know what it is. It's not something I feel bad about, to be honest, but I do swear quite a lot. It's self-expression. I'm allowed to express myself any way I like, right? My mom complains a lot about it, so, but it's something that I think you have to get used to, because I know some people get like offended by swear words and stuff like that. I don't know if the UK is for you if you get offended by swear words, because they throw them everywhere, and you literally be in a meeting and someone be like, effing this, effing that, like son of a bee. For me, I don't really care. Like, you're saying what you want to get your message across, I get it. But if you're someone who that kind of thing, you don't like it or you're not used to it, it might be quite surprising to you, if that makes sense. Especially when you're in like internal meetings and it's like in an internal situation, it's not client facing. I think it's quite normal, but it might not be normal in other cultures. So as someone who is both black and a woman, I think I can't not mention this, and this is racism. So racism does exist in the workplace. It has existed in, I've seen it in different forms in most of the workplaces I've worked in. And I will say it's not always like somebody calling you the N-word or spitting at you or something horrible like that. Sometimes it is microaggressions. Sometimes it is the effects of systematic racism. Like, it's very much a range. It could be very much a range of different things. So it could be things like you might notice people of ethnic minorities don't get promoted. That happens in certain workplaces. It could be people touching your hair. That I would tell you has happened to me in every company I've worked for. There's always people who will touch a black woman's hair without asking and just start doing like this as if it is a zoo and you're not at work. Why are you touching another adult's hair? Does it make any sense? No. That happens, but it's just something to be aware of. I'm not saying like there's something like you should be terrified or anything like that, but it's almost difficult to describe. But I will say that I don't think I have personally met any black person who is like in like the corporate world who hasn't experienced some variation of said racism. So yeah, I have no idea why I just made that noise with my mouth. But yeah, it's just something to note, something to be cautious or conscious of. And that is it for today. I hope you have found today's video enjoyable, entertaining, helpful, something along those lines. I'll put up another video somewhere here for you if you haven't seen it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.